So is anyone else having a bad month? Glad it's not just me. I know that I need a distraction now, more than ever, just so that I can stay sane enough to survive all of this. I usually would use TikTok, which has already, shortened my attention span. But everything going on recently, I've kind of jumped over to Red Note. I'm going to talk a little bit about TikTok and Red Note and how that kind of all came to be. Also, we'll talk about the issues of censorship and everything that's going on with TikTok right now. So let me know in the comments what you think and if you have a preferred. I've deleted X, I've deleted Instagram, I've deleted Facebook because you can catch me on anything before I'll be on a Meta app. Never again, Mark Zuckerberg. Never again.
So pick me. Choose me. Love me.
TikTok has a very interesting history as an app. It was really known as something that could find the right content for anyone. If you put content in there, it would find the right audience for you. Now, this could sometimes be an echo chamber, but it's definitely gotten even stranger since the ban. But many people are also afraid of Red Note's terms of service. Dun dun dun.
Mom? What are you doing here in the middle of the night?
You're just in time for supper, dear.
You're not my mother.
So let's go through it. We got TikTok, Red Note. Are either of them good options? Are both of them? Do you have one? Do you have the other? Let me know what you think. We're going to go through their history and also what they currently look like now, especially with everything that happened with the TikTok ban. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell and like the video if you have ever gone on any social media app ever.
I don't know if you've noticed, but there are no more protest videos. There are protests happening all over the country because of the inauguration tomorrow, and I haven't seen a single damn one of them. But what really, really hit me is that for the past hour, my friends and I have been sharing TikToks into our Messenger group chat, and we've had no problem. Until I sent a video talking about how, I can't even remember his name, Xiao. If you go to his reposts, he's reposting MAGA shit. And I sent that video to our group chat. It didn't send as a link. Every other video I sent as a link to TikTok, but not that one. So I tried it again with the video about the girl with all of her comments being censored, didn't send as a link.
TikTok was originally Musical.ly in 2018, but really grew to fame ever since the pandemic. It's been huge for a lot of different kinds of people, whether it's small businesses starting up there, whether it's a bunch of fun dances or what crazy cat video you see that day. It kind of had a niche for everything, and it was really an easier way for new content creators to kind of get into the scene. And also, we really didn't have something similar to it, not only the algorithm, but also the short form video content. Then the government was like, how dare the Chinese know that our people like Timothy Chalamet or crazy cat videos? This is a national security threat. Whatever info that they have on me on TikTok is just this girl is gay. She is into cats. She likes to crochet. And honestly, I think if the Chinese government wants that so badly, in exchange for free content, I'll take it. But the American government was like, no, never. We're the only ones allowed to spy on you. You can't have another country knowing what's going on. That is ours. And ours alone to spy on our citizens. So TikTok was told that they had to sell to an American-based company because ByteDance, their parent company, was in China. And if the Chinese government wanted the data, they technically could take it from them. I don't care. And I don't think most normal people cared. There was literally a whole trend where people were like, everything else that's important, like climate change, the fact that our country is falling apart, all of that's going on. And they're like, TikTok, that's what's important. And really, it shows the increased focus on propaganda, in my opinion. So TikTok was told that they had to sell, and then it was pushed back, and then it was pushed back again, and then they actually banned TikTok for 14 hours. The American government at work. Hoorah! It was back, but with a very ugly message praising Trump for allowing it to exist again and saying that it's so happy to be back.
TikTok is now saying, hey, we are agreeing, we will use our push notification system for all 170 million American users to promote Donald Trump. Just understand that government announcements like this with companies, they never name politicians. They will usually name law or policy.
I mean, Trump wanted the man in 2020, but
I don't think so.
I guess we gotta all praise him now.
No.
Now, at this time, there was a lot of different conspiracy theories about TikTok getting sold to Meta, which honestly, I 100% understand. I also hate Mark Zuckerberg and think that he's caused like so much unnecessary strife in our world and is definitely one of our shitty oligarchs. But it's technically a conspiracy theory. There's nothing that says it specifically, at least when I am filming this video. There's also been talks about Oracle maybe buying it, but really we're just kind of stuck in limbo, and it's still in this weird place where it's back after that dreaded 14 hours, but it's a little different. And it just feels different than the TikTok we knew. The lives that were honestly too much before. I feel like I would like accidentally click on a live like all the time when I was scrolling, and then I would get stuck on that person's live and I'd be trying to get off and be like, I don't want to see this person eat mayonnaise, I'm good. But it was really great for people to be able to see things that were going on in life right now, to get that first person perspective when those lives went from being very much pushed to barely being there when we got back on the app was really concerning.
It's because with the winter coming around, everyone needs to stock up on a new pair.
You know what? That makes sense. I feel like especially with how crazy this weather's been.
I know. It's like, I don't want to be too late and get cold feet.
Sister, but I'm wondering, can cool guys wear cute winter boots as well?
Yes. Travis Kelce wore some cool ones to the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift.
A lot of us are really worried about America and where we are in 2025. Clearly, America's had issues for a long time, but this has been a rough month. I know it has been for me. I know it has been for a lot of people, especially when we're worried about like American censorship and propaganda. Coming back to an app that is praising the not yet president then seemed to censor not only lives, but a lot of different content creators said that a lot of their things were getting flagged, and anything that was like negative of Trump, or they consider it anti-American.
And according to this content violation, I used formats, methods, or resources that do not produce high quality work. What does that even mean? I'm sorry, I've seen videos on this platform filmed with a potato. And those are allowed to be monetized? Sure. Okay. Got it.
Now, TikTok is definitely not America's first propaganda. I mean, look at Marvel or like any military kind of cinema. They have to get like our military's permission to make anything that has to do with the military. So that's sketch. But the thing about TikTok is it felt like it was a person-to-person platform. You could just hear about what was going on in the everyday lives of some random person halfway across the globe, or even just like in a different state than you. And it was really good to see us coming together collectively as people, just regular people, in this like push towards oligarchy. A lot of my lives that I did actually end up like seeing and looking at were union protests, trying to get a fair wage. Like there was a lot of things like that. And I think TikTok was like really beautifully suited for that. And I don't know anymore.
And remember, kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
Now, TikTok has said that its official policies haven't changed, but a lot of content creators say that it has. And as someone that's on the app, it feels different. Do you feel like TikTok felt different to you? Or do you think that certain content creators are just getting in their heads? Like, what do you think has actually changed about TikTok? Maybe it's just me and the people that I follow, but a lot of TikTok, in my opinion, has gotten a lot less carefree, a lot less enjoyable. And already sometimes, you know, if you get in a political niche for a second. You like one too many videos and then it becomes your whole For You page. But after the ban, it felt like it was even more of that. A lot of TikTokers had basically like outed themselves as like lying about their cool gimmicks or whatever. I've seen a lot less dance videos or like carefree fun videos. It's been a lot of serious talks about a serious situation that's going on right now, which I totally get. The hard thing is I have to always double check the info. I mean, you should double check any info you get on social media, even this one. Definitely this one too. I do my best, but there's always the chance that someone's wrong, so you do have to double check. I found that a couple of videos that were really stressful to me were just wrong. And it added like a lot of unnecessary stress. As someone who's already struggling with everything going on right now, it was a lot. So I kind of just logged off for a hot second. Me and many Americans took the long, arduous journey from TikTok all the way to Xiaohongshu, or Red Note.
You think this is the first time that an American, movement, generation even, got pissed the fuck off at the overreach of the government and so decided to do the farthest thing from what they were intending to prevent? Imagine the flip scenario, of America, all right, having an app, and Australia saying, oh, you're going to steal our data. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook is going to steal all of our citizens' data because he did and does and continues to do and sell it to the highest foreign bidder. Because American companies can apparently do that here. But we are worried about China. Be serious.
Xiaohongshu, or Red Note, saw a huge increase in downloads after the TikTok ban. Now, I was someone that went on there after the TikTok ban. Like, the TikTok had gotten banned, and then it came back, and I looked at it, and I was kind of creeped out. And then I went on Red Note. So much that hashtag TikTok Refugee was trending for a really long time. It genuinely might still be trending. It really was interesting to see people come together from literally opposite sides of the world with very different governments, potentially different ways of life, really realizing that we're not that different. We're all just people with crazy governments and oligarchs trying to like rule us in different ways, but y'all just want some brain rot. I really wanted to just get out of the USA's thumb. Like, I just feel like everything that's been going on in America for a long time, but especially this past month, I just don't want America to have any more control over me. Like, I already feel so controlled in a lot of shitty ways. So I, along with many people, went over to Red Note, and I was happy for someone else to steal from me for a second. Red Note, or Xiaohongshu, was first put up in 2013 in Shanghai, and it has a very aesthetically pleasing platform. It's a little bit different, the user experience, than what you would get on TikTok, but it has a similar setup of clicking on short form videos in a vertical format and being able to scroll through it. There's hashtags, and there is an extra button that lets you show that you really like something. It's like you can like it, you can collect it, and then you can really like it. It's full of so many different things. Lifestyle, fashion, it's very aesthetically pleasing. And the one thing that you will find plenty of is cats. Many, many, many cats. I mean, honestly, just the cats alone got me to stay on this platform. Like, there's so much really cool stuff on there, but oh my gosh, there are so many cute cats. And it's really cool to talk to other cat lovers on the other side of the globe. And we're all just like, oh my God, this cat's so cute. It's just so chill and unproblematic comparatively to like everything else going on in the world. It's just nice to have a break. And oh my gosh, people are so much nicer on Red Note. It's crazy. I think it might have to do partially with how bullying is more strictly regulated there. We're going to go more into the terms of service later, so I'll let you know exactly what's kind of different over there. But honestly, it was a really nice environment. Like, most people are just excited about each other's outfits and cats. A lot of stuff about Chinese New Year that I've learned that I just had no clue, and a lot of talking back and forth about just like what a regular life is for different people in different parts of the world. And I just think that's really valuable. A lot of Americans, if they don't ever step out of America, kind of think Oh, we've got it. We found the way. The one and only true way. Little Christian, if you ask me. As soon as you step out of America, a lot of times you realize, oh, that's not true. There's a lot of different cultures. We do some things good and we do a lot of things bad. And other people are the same. But I think this app like kind of gives people the ability to do that without actually having to leave. As I've seen more Americans get on the app, you definitely can go in a political direction as well if you want and like have those conversations about everything going on in America. But personally, I've found it to just be like a really relaxing app. Talk about the lighthearted stuff in life. And I don't know about you, but I need that right now. I need a little bit of lightheartedness to just survive.
Hello, my regional fans. How are you today? I'm so happy that my artwork has received so many likes and compliments. Thank you all for the love.
It's cool to see Americans really realize, and Chinese people really realize that like all of us are just regular people. And it's the billionaires and oligarchs of our society that make it weird. There's also a lot of encouragement for like learning new languages. I do not speak Chinese. I am trying to learn a little bit. It is something that I struggle with. I'm not very good at learning new languages, but I think it's really cool to have that potential to learn and to practice and just talk with people that actually speak the language. You can just learn so much more when you have an actual conversation with someone that speaks the language. Like when I was learning Spanish, I very much would talk to other people that spoke Spanish and would learn so much more than trying to like memorize vocab words. A lot of Chinese people already speak English. It's really interesting to see so many Chinese people, weird way to say it, but like reach across the aisle and speak in English. And then very quickly, RedNote changed to allow translations for their app. So now if you go on to RedNote, you can have everything in English, which is incredible. Like they got on it really fast. I think it was within 24 hours of me joining the app. I'm not quite sure how soon it happened, but they very much have it so that now as an English speaker, you can use the app in very much the same way that a Chinese speaker could. Clearly, as I fail to say words correctly in Chinese, I am not an expert, but it's really cool to see another culture and to get to experience that, even if it's a curated version, like all social media. Let's get to the brass tacks for Americans. Is the Chinese government going to steal all your data and do some horrible things with it? Let's look at the terms and conditions and read anything that's different. I went through them all myself. I read them and found kind of the main sections. As I read through it, I also went back and reread some other social media platforms like Meta and TikTok. It honestly is not that different. There is a slight differences. We're going to talk about it, but in my opinion, it does not seem to be that different. I am not a lawyer of any kind. I'm just a regular bitch. We're just reading and doing the best to discern it ourselves. Let's be honest. Is this the first time you've ever worried about terms of service? It is for me. I very much have never read the terms of service for any app that I've ever downloaded.
Oh, you stink!
Yeah, it's not the best. It's not like a good thing, but I haven't. And so this was the first one that I really dove into. And honestly, I was like very pleasantly surprised. First thing is data collection. RedNote does collect your personal information, the photos that you've shared, the things that you've liked, the comments that you've left. And since it is based in China, if the Chinese authorities decided they wanted that data for some reason, they could get it. So if that's your biggest worry, that the Chinese government is going to have access to that data, that is going to happen. Now, that is true for all social medias that I have looked at. Maybe there's one that's different. If you know one that doesn't collect all your data, I mean, that's kind of its main thing. If you do know one, put one in the comments below, please. They all collect your data, and honestly, it's, do you want the Chinese government to have access to it? Or do you want the American government to have access to it? As someone that lives in America, I think a more immediate threat is America having access to it instead of China. But that's my personal opinion. The content guidelines are a little bit more strict than they are in TikTok. They have strict rules against pornography, illicit photos, defamation, violence, and any illegal content. And where that gets a little tricky is political content. What is allowed to be censored? Is criticism of China allowed? Are we able to bring up things like Taiwan or LGBT rights or Hong Kong? There is a chance that if you bring up some of those topics, that you might get more censored. It's very vague in that way. So if I'm gonna talk badly about China, it probably just won't be on Red Note. That can be a big deal if that's the kind of content that you're doing. I personally was nervous about LGBTQ content because of everything that goes on in China with censoring, especially of people that are LGBTQ.
This video is for my gay TikTok or Meta refugee friends who are out there on Xiaohongshu trying to present yourself as gay or trying to find a Chinese boyfriend. Here are some hashtags you might want to use to avoid the censorship. Hashtag 1, top. Hashtag 0, bottom. Hashtag side. Hashtag 0.5, versatile. Hashtag rainbow. Hashtag 白袜, white socks. Chinese gays would kill for those. Nike is preferred. Hashtag TXL, 同性恋. Homosexual. Hashtag 体育生, sporty university student. Or you can text me or ask me out. It's faster.
If you're a woman who's interested in women, search the hashtag LE as a starting place.
Hashtag bi, hashtag 双, hashtag 双性恋, bisexual. Hashtag trans, transgender, hashtag TS, not Taylor Swift. It stands for trans or trans women. Hashtag MTF or hashtag 男跨女, male to female. Hashtag FTM or hashtag 女跨男, female to male. Hashtag 跨性别. Hashtag non-binary, hashtag 非二元性别. And for all of us, we can all use hashtag rainbow flag, hashtag queer.
The one thing I was really worried about when it came to Red Note, for me personally, was LGBTQ rights. And that being more heavily censored in China. I have very much seen so many beautiful LGBTQ couples on there. People that are doing drag, people that are just expressing themselves in different ways. It's just great to be able to see gay joy all around the world. And that's something that I was a little bit worried about. So I'm really glad that, at least as of right now, there does seem to be a good number of LGBTQ content on Red Note. Not only is the camaraderie between Chinese citizens and American citizens beautiful and amazing to watch, but there's also a very girl power centricity to this app. The app, especially before Americans, I'm not quite sure how it would work now, but before it was very predominantly female. From what I have seen being on there, it's very focused on like fashion, art, beautiful aesthetics. I have found that to be a very supportive environment. I think that might have something to do with it. Very much a girls supporting girls vibe. No matter what country you're from, no matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what your government says. Girls support girls.
And I see many foreign girls say that the fashionable Chinese girls here making them scared to post anything on Xiaohongshu.
They know how to dress. Like, I'm a fashion girly and I'm like, I'm scared to post because like, y'all are on a whole new level.
And trust me, you're not alone. Every time I scroll through Xiaohongshu, I was like, how come her face is so tiny? And why does her skin look so flawless? It just seems like everyone here just looks like prettier than me. But you know what? We are trying so hard to fix this. Chinese women on this app are actually speaking out against those beauty-obsessed content that causes girls to feel anxious about their appearance. We even have a movement called Say No to Appearance Anxiety on here, 拒绝容貌焦虑. We also have a term here called Girls Help Girls. We are calling for the freedom of not being beautiful, the freedom of not wearing makeup, the freedom to dress however we like, but not what makes us look more feminine.
I understand that like people can very much be worried about Red Note. I could see that being a concern, especially if you're really invested in the topics that the Chinese government just might be more towards censoring. However, as someone that's in America, with America being my biggest threat, honestly, against myself and its own people most of the time, I'd rather the Chinese have my information. with everything that's going on right now, I don't want America to have much information on me. And it already knows I'm gay, so I'm screwed in that aspect. Do you trust our government anymore? Obviously, America's had issues for so long, but I feel like my trust for our government's gone. Like, out the window. I did want to mention the crochet community because I'm very much a part of it and I love it. People are so talented and have such amazing designs. I'm incredibly impressed by, honestly, all of the art that I've seen on there. I've learned so many new techniques.
September, October, November, December.
Part of this plan is no one can stop me.
So, are you gonna make the jump? The long, arduous journey to the App Store, clicking on Red Note and downloading. If you're looking for a fresh start with a new app that is maybe a little less American focused and potentially a little bit more relaxed and less focused on politics and everything going on with that, I would definitely recommend trying it out. I personally don't think there is anything wrong with their terms of service. It's pretty similar to what you would find for any social media here. Rednote really has the community, has the creativity, and honestly, these like really beautiful sites you might not ever be able to see, at least I probably won't, on the other side of the world. And learning about other people's like traditions and a lot of things going on right now with Chinese New Year is amazing.
Don't go and do that, please.
Now, you do whatever you like.
We can't condone anything of the sort.
No, we can't live!
It's not without its issues, especially when it comes to censorship, but I think the community is worth it. The connection between Chinese citizens and American citizens is worth it. Now, on the other hand, TikTok does seem to be getting more back to normal. There still are talks about censoring different topics, but lives have kind of gone back up. I've found that TikTok is really great when I can. If I'm being honest, there are times where I don't know if I can handle more bad news. That is a very privileged thing of me to say, but I really believe that the best way to have like long-term revolution is to rest and to take care of ourselves so that we can do this long-term. So there are times when I just can't do it. I have both Rednote and I have TikTok. And I very much think that both of them serve a really interesting place as a social media app. I just have to be careful about when I go on them. I love them both, just in different ways. They both have issues and they both have good things. If I'm being honest, the thing I like more than anything about this whole situation is just sticking it to the US government. They absolutely were trying to like stop us from being able to communicate with each other, censoring us and claiming it was because of Chinese data learning that we like cats and that we're gay.
Will not be blackmailed by some ineffectual, privileged, effete, soft penis debutante. You want to start a street fight with me, bring it on, but you're going to be surprised by how ugly it gets. You don't even know my real name. I'm the Lizard King.
It seemed like they did not like how TikTok was tearing down a lot of structures that had been put into place in America for a long time that needed to be deconstructed. It's still up in the air, so who knows how TikTok will continue to develop. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think they're both good apps? Do you think like one is good, one is evil? I like them both. I think they just both got issues. But I got them too. Do you think TikTok has changed or is it just my algorithm that sucks? And do you think that Rednote is a good app for Americans to be on, or are you more afraid of the Chinese government than the American government? Drop your thought in the comments and subscribe for whatever else is going on in the world and just talking about it here together. Zai Zhen.